The podcast man is here. Consider the convenience of this. Back in the day, to listen to a podcast, you had to wait every week for the podcast man to come around in his truck. All the kids in the neighborhood would chase him, try to get just a taste of his sweet insights. And now look at you. You just get it whenever you want. It's disgusting. You should feel ashamed of yourself. This is an era of hedonism unlike any other in terms of podcast availability. Frankly, in terms of everything else, but I'm not responsible for that. I'm the podcast man. And if there's anything else going on in the world right now, someone else needs to figure that out. But luckily there isn't. Just smooth sailing as always, as we're all used to. Nobody died horrifically today. Man, I wish I hadn't seen the Charlie Kirk video. It kind of, maybe that has colored my opinion, but I do feel like you don't kind of like the guy, but I do think if you're actively cheering on bloodshed, you gotta get a grip, man. It's not good for you, and it's not good for anything. You can hold in your mind the thought that, everything he stood for was incredibly toxic to a civilized society. But I don't see why the next step then is, I know what'll show him, being just as toxic as he was. That's the thing I have not been able to figure out. It's well, he didn't care. He didn't value human life. He ironically, he was vocally supportive of the ability to shoot somebody. So, it's not like I don't see the irony. I'm just trying to figure out the reasoning of rightly identifying toxic thoughts and behaviors in other people. And it's great, you got the diagnosis down. But then you take it a step further and you're like, and now I'm gonna emulate it. It's wait, what? You lost me. You said the guy is bad because he doesn't care about human life. And now that I've identified the thing that makes him bad, I'm gonna do that too. Well, this is what you get in an era of just utter nihilism. There's no real belief system. You just want an eternal cycle of bloodshed that, because you live in just a tiny little segment of history, you don't grasp the nature of the very engine that keeps it going, which is just obsession with short-term vanquishings of political foes. And in an environment that's become fertile ground for fascism, why are you watering the ground? Eventually, you're just gonna have to grow the fuck up as a species, instead of constantly acting like bloodthirsty maniacs and then looking around at the world and being like, hey, who got all this blood everywhere? Who did this? Not me. I'm not a part of the world. I'm an independent entity. I'm like an alien. Nothing I do affects anything. It's you're part of the fabric of history. So accept it. Figure it out. It's kind of the same cynicism of drug dealers whose justification for what they do is saying, well, if I wasn't doing it, somebody else would. It's so then what was the point of any of this? That if nobody actually believes in anything, what are we doing all this political battling for in the first place? I think the worst take I saw was somebody retweeting AOC's predictably boilerplate statement on Twitter and saying, well, thanks for being completely useless. It's what version of being useful is an elected official supposed to have when a media figure is assassinated? How do you want them to be useful? Did you really think she was gonna say, did he get the jab? LOL. That's it, just lowercase, nothing else. Did you think she's part of weird Twitter now? Do you think she's gonna start tweeting drill? Saying that he died shitting his big diaper? No, she's AOC. Who do you think she is? Are people thinking Mamdani was gonna do what? What do you think they would say? What world do you come from that you have these expectations? But we can all agree, obviously he died, but it's obviously all a setup. The timing, the nature of it, it's getting way too obvious. It's almost boring how obvious it is. It's kind of weird to put flags at half-staff. That's kind of overboard. But you gotta give the flag guys something to do, I think we should just, from now on, just have the flag always at half-staff. And then if we all agree that there was a really good, awesome day that was just chill, everybody just relaxed, then we could put the flag all the way up. I don't think we're deserving the full flag collectively. We shouldn't get to have it all the way up there. Unless we're good. If we're good, the flag goes all the way up. Like at the end of a Mario level. But we're not making the cut. I mean, this is the whole point of coming here, is to be tested like this. If you're like angry or pissed off or uncomfortable or anxious, I mean, it sucks, but that's kind of the point. The point is to like see if you can rise above it. You're gonna just be tested over and over and over again. It's just gonna keep happening. I mean, how many times are you gonna fail the test? And even if we can't do it collectively at the individual level, like you have to for your own sake, you got to be able to you got to be able to get out of the mud sometimes. I mean, I'm not saying it's always easy. Actually, yeah, it's usually always hard. But sometimes you get ones that are obvious. Because your punishment, if you do give in to the bloodlust, then you get an even worse police state than we're probably going to have anyway. So maybe we could just have, a moderate police. Let's just have moderate fascism for once, huh? Do we have to go full bore this time? We know how it works out every time. And then Kash Patel, as if his tenure so far hasn't been embarrassing enough. He's like, oh, actually I just checked Twitter and we got the wrong guy. He didn't really say that. I had to clarify he didn't really say that because it does seem like exactly the kind of thing that would happen. The reason for me that it kind of seems like a setup is, number one, the timing. And that, like I said, Charlie Kirky's a very specific person who appealed to a very specific demographic, namely young men who are likely to be kind of riled up and more likely to perpetuate various forms of violence. I mean, I don't know if that'll happen, but that seems like it's kind of what the plan is. So we'll see how it works out. We'll see how it works out for those pulling the strings, which I would tell you who they are, but if I did, they would, I won't get to do the podcast anymore. Unless you know of any podcasts done by people with no head. But yeah, you're gonna have to get out of the whole left-right duality. It's just stupid. Every fucking time this happens. Again, has it ever solved the problem? Has identifying the politics of the shooter, there's such a rush to do that. And then what happens after that? Nothing happens. But, people have been assassinated a lot. It's just a thing that happens. I mean, you can make the argument that... I'm not making the argument, but if you wanted to make this argument, I'm letting you have it in case you want to use it. Which is that the conflict resolution cycle is necessary for civilization to move forward. And an accelerationist would say that, like, a society needs to blow off steam, even if it makes things worse for a little while. And then you just joker it to the ground and then start anew. But actually do it right this time. I'm not making this argument. Because it's hard to argue against. It's basically saying, fuck it, pedal to the metal. How am I supposed to argue against not caring about anything? It's hard to convince someone to care about something. Again, that's what it kind of seems to come down to. There just are no guiding principles available to anybody. We don't have an identity. We're just a series of reactions. Like, we're just unconscious. We're just kind of zombies. That if you just point us in any direction, we'll just move towards that in a spiral until something points us in a different direction. Our attention is just like a wind-up toy that you put down on the floor and it goes wherever you put it. If we're all really that malleable, then why are we pretending to have convictions that justify all the divisions we've carved ourselves up into in the first place? Apparently it never meant anything. The one thing we can all agree on is that we all want to kill. But it doesn't have to be that way because we are conscious, we are self-aware. Our cognition is recursive, meaning it folds in on itself and therefore introspection is possible. So why not take advantage of that every once in a while? Not really stop and ask, am I being manipulated emotionally? When I see and hear different messages, are they meticulously engineered to activate, like, the reptilian part of my brain? Anyway, now for the funny part of the podcast. I've been saving up all the jokes for the rest of the podcast, and the reason I've been saving them is because they're so good. They're too good, which is why I won't be saying any of them. I'll be writing them down on pieces of paper, and I'll be putting that paper in a fireplace. And the jokes will become nothing but ash and cinder released into the atmosphere to make the clouds giggle. All because I had to talk about this stupid shit that happened today. I think I had a difficult week because the gravity of the kind of situation of the species really truly sank in. And it was between the complete and utter lack of power that we have in dealing with whatever the Epstein thing really truly is about, and, well, Gaza. These two things combined make me think I think we are being ruled by just actual evil itself. Which I guess I kind of suspect. I mean, I guess I knew that, but it now feels very real. And it has lent a certain viscerality to life. But I guess you have to make some attempt to live with humility, grace, and compassion. And then you die, and then, you take it from there. I don't know. Well, now that I put it like that, it sounds it sounds relatively easy. It depends on how it shakes out. I mean, it's really a race to the finish line between me and, the world in terms of which one ends first. It might be a photo finish, but I hope I get gold in that race, and Apocalypse, comes in with an honorable silver. And then I think taking bronze will be the next Game of Thrones book. That one's going to come way later. So there has to be some level where you draw a line where you're like, politics does not enter this inner space, this inner sanctum that forms the core of my belief system. There's got to be something safe where no matter what, this particular axiom holds true in all situations. Because politics ruins a lot of good things. I saw a play on Sunday called Elvis Meets the Beatles, which is a perfect title for a musical because it skips the step of somebody asking you what it's about. It's like someone asks what musical you're going to go see. You're like, oh, I'm going to go see When Elvis Met the Beatles. And whoever asked that question is like, I had a follow-up, but it's now been addressed. But Elvis really did meet the Beatles. But at that point, Elvis, his career was on the downswing, and he was a little insecure about how much the Beatles had blown up by that point. And according to the musical, what happened is they got along quite famously, and they were playing music together. You could almost see a musical collaboration coming together. So they're at Elvis's place, and John Lennon sees an All the Way with LBJ lamp that was gifted to Elvis by LBJ. And Lennon, being an outspoken critic of the Vietnam War and LBJ, catches a glimpse of it. And then it just went to shit. So I don't know how dramatized it was, but think of how different things could have been if the Beatles rehabilitated Elvis in his career, and they just convinced him to smoke weed instead of eat cheeseburgers, and he wouldn't have died while taking a dump. But no, and it's all because of LBJ. I blame him for all of this. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's just funny that the Beatles were famous. They're considered some of the greatest musicians who've ever walked on the planet Earth. And you talk to one of them and they're just like, we just thought we'd make some tunes. And by the way, if you want to talk about assassinations, I mean, talk about John Lennon getting killed by Mark David Chapman, who had the dumbest reason for killing anyone. The Beatles had become more popular than Jesus, is what he was quoted as saying. And somehow that was an issue that needed to be corrected. And Mark David Chapman, who fancied himself a Holden Caulfield, quite literally, that was his role model, did very few public appearances, because public appearances are for phonies. He might get too famous, then somebody would have to shoot him. Because apparently, according to him, if you're too famous, you have to be shot. So at least he's sticking to his principles. Anyway, that's everything that's been going on. Now for a weather check. The weather, I don't know, I think it's just normal. I wouldn't worry about it. It's perfectly fine. If you're being told otherwise, that's misinformation, and that's fear-mongering. And frankly, in my opinion, fear is one of the worst things to monger. Why can't we monger other things? Why is there no such thing as a joy mongerer? I accuse you of sowing joy. This is all just a ruse for you to make people happy, isn't it? Report to your punishment pod, Citizen 7170. What else? I eat my own boogers, I eat my poop, and I eat my throw up. And I vote, okay? None of that's true. I don't eat any of those things. There was kind of a lull and I didn't really know how to fill it. It's unfortunate that that's the first thing I thought of. I'm trying to do better and I'm trying to grow. I'm trying not to eat my poop or my boogers. But I don't want to give up the throw up. Come on, you gotta let me keep something. Again, not true. This comes up with my niece when we're playing and I'll say something like, oh, there's a monster over there. And she's like, but for pretend, right? Says the girl wearing the Elsa dress. Now you're questioning what's real? Now you're fact-checking me? This is what breaks immersion for you? This is breaking the fourth wall? Anyway, the podcast man is here for treats for everybody of all ages. I got thoughts. Each thought is going to be $2.50. A joke is going to be $5. I don't have ice cream. I'm sorry. I know I'm in an ice cream truck, and you expect me to have ice cream, but it's just me in here. So now I don't have the SpongeBob popsicle, whatever that was. Man, those were so good with the gumball eyeballs. Yeah, those are great, but I don't got them. I can tell you about me eating them, but that's $2.50 because that's a thought. I've had so many thoughts just since I started talking to you. You might owe me hundreds of dollars. I'm not really sure how to how to demarcate thoughts. I mean, one just kind of flows into the next. Like, is each individual word its own thought? Is a sentence a thought? Like, what is a thought? The definition of thought, according to Merriam-Webster, is something that is thought. Okay. Well, that really clears it up for me, personally. Doesn't that break the cardinal rule of you can't use the word in the definition of the word? I still don't know what a thought is. Now I'm not even sure if I've ever had one. So forget it. I might actually owe you money. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just inappropriate for him to be here on a day like today. He's one of those people who, he shows up anywhere, and you're like, this doesn't seem appropriate for him to be here. It's like if a person walked in dressed like a clown, but he doesn't even need the clown getup. And you just think, not now. It's not the time for this. If you saw Slurp-On lipstick on, September 12th of 2001... you think, I don't want to deal with this right now. Oh, fuck, I just realized I forgot to decorate for 9/11 again this year. I left all the decorations in the attic, and now it's too late at this point, it doesn't even matter. I did the one thing I'm never supposed to do about 9/11. But it's not about me, it's about the host of Time Check, Slurp-On Lipstick, who will be coming out here reading the time to you so you know what time it was at the particular time that he recorded this episode. It's an idea that's so stupid, it keeps me up at night. Just thinking about the fact that Time Check exists sends me to a really dark place, and I don't want to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Slurp-On Lipstick, the host of Time Check. Put your hands together, raise the roof for him. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm the host of Time Check. My name is Slurp-On Lipstick. Thank you so much. My car broke down. I had to get a ride from my friend Rick Shaw. He doesn't drive a rickshaw. He drives a Camry. He does Uber, and when his name comes up, people are like, oh, I thought you were going to be a rickshaw. He's like, I am a rickshaw in a Camry. It's confusing, but it makes sense why he only has 1 star. Although, to be fair, I do Uber as well. but I just have a little radio flyer wagon, and I just pull people around in that. And honestly, highways are a little, they're scary. I'll do them, but they're scary for me. So that's what I've been doing on the side, because obviously Time Check isn't paying the bills. We don't have any sponsors interested in Time Check. The only people interested in selling ads on here now are Enron and Theranos, two companies that no longer exist. We only have access to disgraced companies. But I don't know, I'm starting to think Theranos, I mean, if you want your blood to be put in a tube or whatever that was, put your blood in a tube. Put everything in a tube. Who gives a fuck? So my lack of content cannot be padded out by advertisements, thus exposing the fraud that I am as the host. There's really just, deep down, there's just nothing there without the ads. So hold on, I'm getting a call on the timeline. Who is this? You're on with the timeline.
Hey, this is Rube, inventor of Rube's Tubes.
Inventor of Rube's Tubes. What size tubes are we talking about?
Every single size tube you can imagine, and more.
There are sizes of tube that I can't imagine.
Tubes so small, they can't be seen. But tubes so big, you might begin to believe that we all live in one huge tube. Because I can make a tube that big. I'm Rube.
What do you sell the tubes for?
Literally any shit you want. It's none of my business.
Well, I was just singing the praises of tubes, saying, and I believe this is on the record, put everything in a tube, who gives a fuck?
That's our company motto.
Well, that's perfect.
Rube's Tubes. You can put the tubes inside of other tubes. Nobody on this fucking planet can stop you. If I find out you're doing something weird with the tube, I'm not gonna call the police. And let me just fully emphasize how much I don't care what you do with the tubes.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you are focused on that aspect of it, I've noticed.
When you're inside one of my tubes, there's no accountability for your actions. None at all.
Okay. What if someone just wants to buy, like, straws off you, because those are tubes?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
But only if you drink something fucked up through them.
Like what?
I don't know, I take it on a case-by-case basis, but you can't just drink water.
It has to be something weirder than water, so what, like pee?
That would be a start.
So you want people to use your tubes for messed up reasons?
Yeah, these are Sicko Tubes.
I knew this was too good to be true. I thought, if we can get tubes supporting Time Check, it's a game changer for me. But then I hear you want to tarnish the reputation of tubes, and I'm sorry, but I can't agree to selling you ad time.
I'm not here to buy ad time.
Oh.
Because I just got it for free.
Whatever. Look, do you just want to know what time it is?
Oh no, that's what my grandfather clock is for. It's got these huge bells that ring. Tubular bells.
Okay, yeah, you're really committed to the brand. Well, those bells are not going to be ringing anytime soon because it's 1:02 a.m.
Oh, I gotta go.
Whoa, did you just go in a tube? Hello? Hello? Looks like an old Rube tube went in one of his tubes again. So predictable. Unlike me, I'm a multifaceted personality. It's not like time is my whole thing. I have a whole rich inner world. Inside of me are 2 wolves. And there are 7 gerbils. I don't know what the gerbils represent yet, but they're definitely in there. But yeah, nothing else much going on. Oh wait, I was recently told in a dream that I was elected president of the slime dimension. I go to the slime dimension every night when I go to sleep now. And so much of it is just bogged up in, like, partisan gridlock. Everything I try to get done there as president, the slime just always gets in the way, you know? I guess I'll be traveling back and forth, so if you see me covered in slime, you'll know it's for a good reason. This time. This has been Time Check. I've been Slurp on Lipstick. May you always know what time it is, and may you never be late, so that you never have to hurry and never have to wait. Peace! Such incredibly wise and profound words from a guy who once whispered to me that the optimal number of nipples to have is 5. And when I asked why, he got really quiet and looked really sullen, and then he just started quietly weeping. I still don't know what he meant by that. There's nothing else planned for the rest of the podcast, so unlike the rest of it, which was meticulously scripted, each syllable was recorded separately and then later edited together. But you gotta edit things down a little bit. You gotta edit out all the shrieking and wailing in the background. I live in a haunted house. Has this never come up? You know, a lot of people are saying we like the scary noises. It sounds like a spooky Halloween sound effect tape. You know, like, didn't your mom ever do like a haunted house on Halloween, like in a room in your house, and they'd have the spooky sound effects on a stereo, and they put a black light up, and there'd be a little bowl of olives that are eyeballs. In all of those spooky sound tapes, you always hear like sort of a generic kind of like creature man who just goes like, oh. It's like, who is that guy? You know? What's he doing here? This is supposed to be like an empty house. The reason this is creepy is because there's nobody around. But then you've got, of course, a man who has to chime in and add a little, oh. Like, what are you, a zombie? Are you a mummy? State your business in this haunted house. Because if you have a zombie in a haunted house, that's a hat on a hat. We already have ghosts. That's already one type of creature. Which dead people got to become ghosts and which one became zombies? What are the rules? And then you've got, you know, doors creaking open. Which, I mean, I don't really know why that's actually a scary noise when you think about it. If you're scared by something that can be eliminated by WD-40, then it's not really worth being afraid of. Don't be mongered by this fear. Don't let the doors scare you. The creaky floorboard. Again, just responsible home ownership. Stay on top of these problems, and you have nothing to be afraid of except fear itself. Winston Churchill said that. You shouldn't be afraid of anything, but if you do encounter fear, you should be scared shitless of it. I think that's what he was trying to say. Also, if there's a witch in the haunted house, this is becoming a squatter situation. Police need to deal with it. Local officials need to address this. If you live across from a haunted house, how are you getting any sleep? You have ghosts going, woo! You have a witch going, yeah! Property values plummet as soon as a house becomes haunted. Look up the data on this. I don't think I've ever been to a proper haunted house. I once went to a house where it was in a rural area, and there was nothing particularly interesting about it. It was just tiny, and we were told that we were hearing carnival music out of thin air, which was very clearly just Freon circulating in the fridge. And there was a basement that was like kind of creepy, but it was also just any given space in New England looks like somewhere where a witch was killed. I don't exactly know what a ghost is, but I suppose I can entertain the idea that it's not so much a conscious being as it is sort of a pattern of energy that kind of persists in the same direction it was pointed at the time of the person's death. So it's sort of a shard of their influence on the physical world that is still like caught in the web, but eventually gets out. That's why there are no like cavemen ghosts. The only ones still hanging out are from like the last century. I don't know, do people become ghosts anymore? Does anyone even become ghosts anymore? What's happened to us? This has been the Purgatory Podcast, and I don't care what anybody says. It has been. See you later.